to We Want Picks. We're coming at you live. We're going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 69 fight card. We're going to give you our picks, predictions, and our bets. We're going to walk through this entire card, top to bottom. But before we talk about this card, let's talk about the last card, UFC 284. It was an interesting card. It was a ton of fun. A couple of wild fights. Twitter was a graveyard of people that had shitty bets, shitty parlays, and lost all of their money. Thankfully for us, premium members have the safety parlay. That safety parlay has been crushing over the last 10 events. It has given you 19.53 units of net profit. That safety parlay alone has given you all of that. That doesn't include everything else that comes with premium membership. So head on over there now, WeWantPicks.com, sign up, click become a member. It's $10 a month.
That could be, honestly, that could be $190 million depending on the unit size.
Yeah, we all understand math. And we also have the line movement tracker for you. This card has had some very interesting movement. We'll talk about that when we break down the card. But premium members, go to the betting section. You'll see all of my bets, all of Jacob's bets. You'll also see the line movement tracker. This is fully interactive. You can sort by the line movement, the current price, the probability, or the opening odds. All of that is available to premium members for only $10 a month. And if you sign up today, you'll have access to at least 4 fight cards. WeWantPicks.com at the top. Click become a member. If you want $50, I've been handing it out. Just $50. We
Tuck
want
it in my waistband.
WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 4 different sportsbook betting partners. Sign up with any one of them using our links. Make a deposit, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. It's literally that simple. You use the link. You make a deposit. They're going to pay me. I'm going to pay you. Everybody makes out. And then finally, some of you saw we have a vlog. A lot of you asked for some more behind the scenes info. Hey, what happens? So for pay-per-views, I just started filming my day. Cooking, having the girls over, hanging out, watching the fights. Check out that vlog. It's up now. We're going to do it for every single pay-per-view. We'll get better as we go. I literally was filming it on a GoPro, figuring out what the hell I'm doing, but our editor did well, so check that out whenever you get a chance. Not now, damn it. You're watching this now. Check that out.
Appreciate you, Big Lavy.
What are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
You said the editor. I said Big Lavy. Appreciate you.
Okay. Let's go ahead, break down this card. We only have 11 fights. We have a brand new main event, which is a very interesting main event. There's only 11 fights. There should be 12. I bet we end up with 12. Joe Selecki was on the card, lost his opponent. They may squeeze that back together because 10 fights is not many at all. But opening up this card. Yeah, sorry. We have 11. We may have 12. What did I just say? Anyway.
Math is everyone understands math.
Also, we're filming this on Monday, February 13th, because I am positive every single one of our fans and viewers is a very attractive person in a relationship with another very attractive person.
It's so funny you said that because totally didn't even realize tomorrow was Valentine's Day.
And they're going to be doing something else for Valentine's Day. So we are doing this
I'm
tonight.
so busy tomorrow night. I'm just so stacked up. I said, Angela, listen, I can't. I mean, I wish I could do it, but I mean, my schedule is full every hour on the hour. Jesus, I'm gonna be drained tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm positive you will be drained. I am absolutely
one way or the other.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt in my mind.
One way or the other, this body is going to be dehydrated.
Opening up the UFC Vegas 69 fight card, we have Juancamilo Ronderos taking on Clayton Carpenter. Juancamilo Ronderos, 4-1 overall. 4-1 in his entire career, so that includes his last 5. He is coming off a loss in his UFC debut. Clayton Carpenter is only 6-0 in his career. He's undefeated. He's also making his UFC debut here, and it's an interesting fight. The line has moved the direction that a lot of us, I don't know how I'm wording this, the line has tightened. Clayton Carpenter opened as a -350 favorite. He is now only a -275 favorite, which is very interesting because Juancamilo's coming back after a layoff. He's a fast-paced striker. He throws in combinations. He resets. He starts over. He is busy. He is always throwing something. He's got solid takedown defense. If he is taken down, he does a pretty good job working back up. Never lets his opponents settle in. He's coming off a scramble submission loss to David Dvorak over a year ago. But Clayton Carpenter is sort of a different kind of animal here. He's only 6-0 in his career, but he has literally been traveling the world since he was a kid. The entire world, competing internationally in all sorts of different martial arts and in MMA, and long before he was an adult and able to do it on his own, his parents were literally flying him all over the world, competing in amateur Pan Ams, youth Pan Ams, things like that. So very well experienced, very well beyond that 6-fight professional career. And he's a slick grappler. He's going to take wild chances looking for submissions. If you're checking out YouTube, go look at his Nicholas Clem fight from a few years ago. He just absolutely went for it, got it, and he has no problem taking those chances, which could be an issue at this level when you start to get more experienced guys, right? You don't necessarily want to be throwing yourself in harm's way to find a submission, but he's got a world of competition. He's very aggressive. He's always coming forward, super fast pace. I like Clayton Carpenter. Juancamilo's an extreme couture guy, so he's going to be well prepared. Expect a lot of wrestlers there, but I love Clayton in this spot. The line movement is a bit surprising to me because neither one of them have a ton of experience, like as a professional, and Clayton has far more experience in his lifetime than Juancamilo does. So I'm on the Clayton Carpenter side for sure, and I am surprised at this new affordable line. What do you think?
Yeah, it's got me a little bit intrigued because there's a few favorites on this card that are like, it feels like they're just a little bit slightly overpriced in my mind, and we'll get to those fights when we get there. But it's hard to find for me at least money line bets I really feel good about because, as you said, Clayton Carpenter should be the better fighter in this matchup. Minus 275, but he is still only 6-0, and he's still very young in his career, and Ronderos coming off that layoff. We don't know. Anytime you have a layoff of more than probably about a year and a half or more, you can really develop in that time, or you could not. There's a lot of question marks in that layoff, and the layoff was because of a shoulder injury, most of it. He said he couldn't even train for 7-8 months. He didn't have surgery, anything like that, but he did have a shoulder injury that kept him out. But while he was out, and me and Angela discussed before the stream, at Extreme Couture, they had him start coaching. So while he was coaching, and he said this in an interview, while he was coaching, he feels like his fight IQ has quadrupled, right? He feels like his fight IQ is just on another level, which is great. The issue is if you haven't been able to train, I felt like it wasn't really fight IQ issues for Ronderos in the fights. It feels like lack of technique. It feels like he's just a little bit, he's just tighten things up. And without the ability to train, I don't know how long he's had to be able to tighten things up. And against a guy like Clayton Carpenter, who has the wrestling, who has the grappling, and also is probably going to be the more technical striker in this matchup of Ronderos as well. It's just gonna be hard to pick against Clayton Carpenter, and if the odds keep dropping, I'll be looking at a money line play. But I do have to hats off to Ronderos because his UFC debut was literally on like 12 hours notice, and he still almost made weight against a very dangerous David Dvorak, and we saw what happened. But he almost made weight in 12 hours notice and came out aggressive, and he was doing the whole thing. So shout out to him. This might be a little bit tighter than we think, but Clayton should be the overall better fighter in my mind.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I like the style, right? I like the aggressive grappling. He should just go out there and be able to take him down and get it done from there.
He's kind of got that look when he fights of, like, he's got a little bit of a dog in him. He hasn't really had to show it. And in his last matchup, by the way, was a very tall, dangerous striker, right? So he had to kind of gauge that range and stuff, and he finally was able to work his way inside and then start using his wrestling as well. So this should be a little bit easier of an opponent in Ronderos as far as that goes.
I completely agree. And, you mentioned that Ronderos said that he's been coaching and he's learned a lot from that. And
you think that helps out?
I do. I think that was a setup. Thank you very much. I coached, I wrestled most of my life, and then I coached a giant portion of my adult life before moving to Texas.
Same.
I coached a little bit here, but I just didn't care about these kids, right? So I just stopped coaching. But I became a far better wrestler coaching than learning, right? I think that's just how that goes because you're seeing everything. You're seeing it from a different angle. You're watching other coaches, and you're sort of putting it all together.
That means you understand it. Just like
there you go.
School. Just like when I was in calculus class, I taught everyone because I was just so smart.
Okay.
Actually, you know what happened in calculus? This is an absolute, and you want to go? I can derail this real quick if you want me to, but if not, we can move on. In calculus, this is 100% true. Senior year high school calculus, we figured out that our teacher had been using the same quiz every week. We had a quiz and then we had a test after same quizzes and tests for years. So the first period would go and take the quiz, find out what quiz it was, and then we had binders from the previous years, and we'd find the quiz. We pull it out and we would literally just memorize the answers. So in senior year calculus, I didn't learn a goddamn thing, got an A, and I would just write random work because I didn't even know how to do the work to make it even look like it was an actual answer. And I'd get the right answer. He'd put a question mark next to all the work and then just give me a credit for the answer.
Question mark next to the
work. Oh, my God. It was the whole class did it. It was incredible.
I mean, if you spent the effort learning instead of cheating, maybe this would be your channel and you wouldn't get paid to do clown noises and jump up and down in your chair. That could be cool.
I kind of enjoy what I do.
I'm sure.
What was that noise? What was that?
The dog. I think Tiffany just got home.
It sounded like somebody screaming, to be honest.
Well, so I literally texted Tiffany saying, did you just get home? Because he's either screaming because he's dying or he's excited because she just got here. It's been a rough day at my house, dude. I took the dog to the vet today because just squirt diarrhea for 4 days. My oldest, I pick her up from school. She's wearing a different shirt. I go, what's going on? Her teacher's like, she threw up in class. Then she comes home, throws up. It's just a mess. It's my wife. We had to bring her truck to Volvo because the door's not opening. So we go all the way over there. The Volvo guy locks, unlocks, does a few things. Bink, door is open, no problem. It's been a night. That's why we pushed this live stream back 15 minutes. And now it's us. Jacob, I don't know if we're getting any viewers. Do you know who we're up against?
Against the fucking world, Angelo. But we're gonna do this, baby. Give me a high five right there. Little titty flip. Little titty flip.
Okay, let's move on. And there goes the live viewer drop, and we just lost to whoever the hell we're up against. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have AJ Fletcher taking on Themba Gorimbo. AJ Fletcher's 9-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is looking for his first UFC win. Themba Gorimbo, 10-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's making his official UFC debut. I said this in Quick Picks. I can't say Themba without thinking I have a swollen tongue or a lisp. Somebody said the H is silent. No, I think the H is silent. It's Themba. Anyway, Themba. AJ Fletcher, hardcore wrestler. Short, jacked, fast, dynamic striking as well. When you break down his film...
Whoa, short.
I think people figured out that you're not a very tall person.
First of all, nope. We're ready. Here we go. You want me to scroll up here? Let me find it. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
I'm trying to do the intro and the breakdown here, so it's a whole thing.
No, this is much more important. Much more important. They deleted or something? Let's see.
I have not been...
Here we go. John says, Jacob was way taller than I thought he would be in the vlog. Thank you very much,
literally the most popular comment on the vlog is, oh my God, Jacob really is short. That's the...
But I don't know how... I'm not even... That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how... First of all, you're short. I don't know how they figured it out. The only thing I could think of is at one point you're standing next to the door, and I think they're like, that's either the biggest door I've ever seen.
When I walk through doors.
Okay. Maybe when you're creeping around in little kids' playhouses. Uncle Jake, pervert.
Uncle Jake.
Anyway, Fletcher. AJ Fletcher's a dynamic wrestler. He's got some decent striking as well. You're going to break down his tape. You're going to see knockdowns. You're going to see knockouts. Everything from head kicks to overhand rights. He's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's fast. He's strong. Great wrestler. Maybe it didn't need the second great. Very good wrestler. And what I do love is he drops and shoots. He will shoot clean doubles and try to run right through them. The problem is everything I just said, while it is true, that is not what we saw in his last fight. He's got 2 UFC fights. The first one was short notice against Matt Semmelsberger. He looked great. I think he won that fight. He scored more points in DraftKings than Semmelsberger did, and DraftKings got the 30-point win bonus. His last fight was not so much. He didn't have that explosiveness. He wasn't, he just did not look himself. Angelou sort of worked him over. And now I can't trust the guy, but he is fighting Themba Gorimbo. He's a distance striker. He manages range well. He picks his shots. He's super long for the weight class, and he uses that length to sort of keep you at bay. He's typically a counter striker, but when he sees his openings, he will charge forward. He does not have the raw power that you want to see from a striker. And he can be a bit sloppy when he's running in for sure. This is a tough pick because this line movement, I expect the opposite, right? Meaning the last fight we saw, I thought that would get wider. This fight, it should get tighter. AJ Fletcher should win this fight. Themba Gorimbo's got long legs. He should be able to get to those legs, take him down, beat him up. AJ Fletcher should absolutely be able to do that. But I cannot trust that dude with my money. Not after the Ange Loosa fight. I cannot trust that guy with my money. So I do think AJ Fletcher wins. I am not spending minus 240. He is not in the safety parlay. Just spoiler alert for non-members. He's not in the safety parlay. I don't trust him. The odds tell you that maybe he should be. The movement especially does. I don't trust him. If you're not a premium member, become one, and you will have access to the line movement tracker. You can follow his movement throughout the week. And if you're waiting for the price to come down, check it out. Check out the line movement tracker. Stay in touch with it, and you'll see it come down. But anyway, I think AJ Fletcher wins. I am absolutely not spending that money on him. And Mbaye, you're not the first person to say this. AJ Fletcher was fighting at high altitude. There were two people in that fight. They both were fighting at high altitude. Ange Loosa didn't look like shit. So I dismissed that comment. Jacob, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why AJ Fletcher looked awful, and especially in the third round, he couldn't do anything. And that was because he did everything he could to get Angelus out of there in the second round. He was absolutely dominating that fight, should have finished that fight. He tried to finish that fight. He did everything he could to try and finish that fight and then gasped when the ref did not stop the fight. I will never discredit somebody for being tired when they're tired for chasing a finish, right? You cannot blame somebody for blowing their gas tank when they're trying to finish the fight, because he could have easily just laid there, taken his time, gotten to the third round, this and that. We've seen fighters time and time again. They will try to chase that finish and they're doing everything to get this finish, and they don't get the finish, and then they get absolutely gassed. It happens. I don't blame the guy. It's not like he was just like getting beat up and gave up or whatever. He tried to chase a finish, and he was doing really well in that fight up until he did get tired trying to chase a finish, especially early. His boxing early is very, very good. I mean, the way he slips shots, when he is working forward and he's not getting hit yet, his boxing is so crisp and so slick, and I think he's going to have some real success, especially early against Gorimbo. But the issue is, as he's getting hit, the head movement stops. Now he's starting to get hit. He has the wrestling. I don't think he needs to use the wrestling in this. I wouldn't use the wrestling because in my mind, and this is going to be a little bit disrespectful, but I mean it, no disrespect. When I'm watching Gorimbo, Themba, Gorimbo, whatever you want to call him, when I'm watching him fight, I just don't see a UFC caliber fighter, right? On the ground, off his back. I know he's got all these wild submissions. I think he's got arm bars, triangles, guillotines. You're probably not going to, when you have all those type of submissions stacked up, those aren't the submissions you're getting in the UFC. Yeah, you might get one here and there, but getting arm bars off your backs and triangles off your backs, it just does not happen at a high level, especially against a guy as experienced as AJ Fletcher is. So, and in the striking, I just don't see. I mean, he has knockouts and stuff, but everything seems a little bit slow, a little bit looping. AJ should dominate inside the pocket in the strike. If he wants to wrestle, he should be able to withstand the stuff, but I think he just moves forward and just basically just outboxes this guy. I just do not see UFC level. And maybe he can, if he comes out and surprise me, great, but I think that's why the odds. I don't think it's so much about AJ Fletcher. I think people are like, all right, who's this Themba guy? Let me see. And they're like, I just don't see it. So I think that's why the odds are getting wide, and I actually like AJ Fletcher in this matchup a lot.
Listen, I think I don't know if Ansi is being sarcastic or he's serious. I think AJ Fletcher wins this fight. I love AJ Fletcher. I'm a big AJ Fletcher guy. I just can't trust him at this point. I've been 0 for 2 on picking him. I'm gonna pick him again. He's the pick for sure.
Right.
But am I gonna put my money? I'm not spending money on him. That's my thing. I can't trust him with my money. So he definitely should win. He should be able to dude, Themba's tall, long, skinny legs. AJ Fletcher should be able to run right through those legs. As you mentioned, he's got clean, crisp boxing. I don't know if what's the reach difference? I'm not a big reach fan. I think that's such a stupid stat that people.
I think it's stupid. I think it's a little stupid too. Because if somebody has a 2-inch reach advantage, that means it's 1 inch on one hand. And it's 1
well,
inch.
This is.
I mean, holy shit.
9. This is 9 inches. But
so it's a 4.5. But if you don't know how to use it, it's pointless.
Well, and that's why I think you're going to watch other shows where they have every stat imaginable, and then they focus on stuff like that. The reach doesn't matter. If you watch any breakdown and they say Themba Gorimbo's long reach is going to be a problem, they don't care about anything other than the numbers, because he doesn't fight that way. He does manage distance, but he's not here.
Physically, when you're looking at him, it's going to be like, oh shit, how do I get inside? But the second AJ realizes this guy's not throwing stuff tight through the middle, and AJ can just kind of walk into it, he's going to be fine.
Plus, styles make fights, and AJ Fletcher's just going to drop and dive at those legs. So I think AJ wins. I am not going to trust him with my money. I do not have him in the safety parlay. When he gets that first when he gets that first UFC win, then it's going to be a whole different situation, right? But for now, not just yet, even though I do think he wins. We do have a couple of super chats. Quint Lazenby, good evening, everyone. Like the stream, buy premium. Thank you very much, Quint. Very appreciated. I saw somebody ask how to buy it. You must be joking because telling people how to buy premium is basically a second language to me. You just need to go to WeWantPicks.com and click Become a Member at the top. Thank you very much, Quint. And then we have another one from Hari Turu. Which of your partners has the best deposit bonus, lowest rollover requirement? So we have Zach fight in UFC before Usman. Two things. You don't need to do the deposit match or the rollover. A lot of people like deposit matches with our partners because you literally get free money. But certainly when you do a deposit match, there's requirements, right? You can't deposit $1,000, get $1,000 from them, and then withdraw the money. You have to bet it. And there's usually minimums. Like you have to bet that money like 4 times or 5, whatever it is. Then you can do whatever you want with it. Check them all out. I don't know the matches off the top of my head, but they'll be spelled out very clearly on the join pages. BetOnline is our preferred sportsbook because they have the earliest lines and the most amount of prop bets. The converse of that is, sometimes you don't want early lines. You want normalized odds if you're not going to get ahead of the movement. And your second question, we have Zach fighting before Usman. That's the co-main event. Frankly, Zach was more of he already knew how to fight, right? He was up at heavyweight, shouldn't be at heavyweight. It was for the show. He can fight. Usman probably needs a little more time to tighten things up. So take that extra time, tighten it up for sure. And thank you very much for that super chat. Then we have another interesting fight. I like this fight quite a bit. I agree with this line movement.
I love this fight.
Put something white on your screen to light up your face. It's very dark. We need to see that pretty face, Jake.
I mean, it's just because I flipped through my tabs. Like, look, see? Just flipping through my tabs.
Okay, well, then turn the light on or something. Jesus Christ.
Light is on.
It's not a very big...
Otherwise, I'd be in the dark. Here you go.
Not a very big place.
There you go.
You can turn a light on in the bathroom. The whole place will glow. Tiny ass. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have Nazim Sadykhov taking on Evan Elder. Nazim Sadykhov, 7-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is making his official UFC debut. Evan Elder, 7-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that short notice loss in his UFC debut. Sadykhov is a solid kickboxer. He's got speed. He's got power. He takes his time on his feet to find openings. He likes to come forward, and he also counter-strikes at the same time. So he's constantly working his way forward, but he'll move and throw instead of just coming at you with heat. He will work in unnecessary spin attacks for no reason, and that is actually his one professional loss. He worked some stupid spin nonsense, and then that was it. That was the beginning of the end for him. Evan Elder's a really talented guy. He's good everywhere. He's got a loose striking style. He lands heavy kicks, solid punch combinations. He's really composed when he hits the mat. He works for control while still landing strikes. I like him quite a bit. He is coming off the loss to Preston Parsons, but two things, that was short notice and that was at welterweight. He's a lightweight fighter. So you just kind of got to throw those out the window, and he had a decent showing, if you will. So I like Evan here. I wish I got him at plus 220. I would have bet him at the plus 220. The line is starting to tighten. When I did this breakdown yesterday for quick picks, I mentioned that he was a plus 145. He's now a plus 142. If you have access to the line movement tracker, you're seeing that move. If you like Evan Elder as an underdog, hit him now because it's just going to get tighter and tighter. I don't see this line rebounding. Jakey boy, I like Evan, if I wasn't clear enough on that. Especially if Nazim's going to do spinning nonsense. Jakey boy.
Yeah, that was a pretty good breakdown. I agree with basically everything you said, and I will just add to this. You already mentioned the short notice up and weight fight against Evan. He showed in that fight that he is an absolute fucking dog. I mean, that guy is an absolute dog. And the way he was talking after that fight, too, was not like, oh, I should be proud of myself because I did great. He's like, no, I need to be better. I need to be better. That was short notice, up and weight. He had a full head and arm. The guy he was fighting had a full head and arm, all the way extended, fully locked in. And he just eats that shit and just slips out of it. The amount of positions that he was in that he was able to work out of is just absolutely incredible. He didn't give up on himself. He's an absolute competitor. When I look at this guy, Nazim, he's going to have the power advantage. I think he definitely has the power advantage. He's going to look great in the first 3, 4, maybe the whole first round of this fight, right? He's a very confident guy. As Angelo mentioned, he's a very good striker. He's good. He might look fantastic, But what he does is he starts to slow down. When he starts to slow down, he slows down in his footwork. And I'm telling you, this Evan dude is an underrated striker. I think he's actually probably the better technical striker of the two. I don't think he's going to have the power as Nazim, but I think he's a better technical striker. And he's definitely shown that in the face of adversity, he will be an absolute dog in there. I don't think he even has that much trouble with Nazim. Maybe a little bit early with, whatever, trying to find his range. But once he turns out that pace, once he turns out that pressure, I have no doubt in my mind that he is going to be ready for this fight. And he's going to be the better striker, I think. And he's got wrestling, too, if he needs it. So I got to go with Evan Elder as well. I actually love him in this matchup, and it feels like the Blake Builder fight of last week. Honestly, I mean, we were both on Blake, and it kind of feels like the same situation here because those odds tightened as well, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of weird line movement on this card. I mentioned I agree with this line movement, but there's a lot of weird line movement on this card. You know what else was weird, Jakey? When I'm doing these graphics, I got my process. I wrote on the graphic Nazim Sadykhov. And then I was like, let me go get the flag of whatever country he's from. And I was like, oh, he's American. I didn't see that coming.
That's like right Saeed.
Yeah, Yakadushin, yeah.
He's from Chicago, right? I think obviously he's original from somewhere, but I think he was in Chicago. So.
Yeah, the kid who just got cut.
I mean, that was like Bilal Muhammad. The first time I heard Bilal Muhammad talk, I was like, oh, wow. Look at that.
Didn't see that coming. We actually had 5 people just sign up for premium membership right now. Thank you all very, very much. I just saw all those
excited
emails
about
come
Evan.
through.
They're all excited about Evan, I think.
They want to see what action
I got some bets on there.
You do. Anyway, guys, check out the line movement tracker. This one, if you like Evan, jump on it now. I said I was going to jump on it. If it moved, if it goes below 145, I'm going to hit it very quickly. If it goes above, I'm going to wait. It went below, so I'm going to hit it after the stream. And you'll likely see a bet from me on him a little later. We're flying through this. There's not enough fights, Jakey. Next up.
I get it.
You good? Okay. Hey, can you just hide this dude from the channel? He's just spamming LeBron James. Just hide him from the channel.
He does that. He does that
gone.
Every week. I don't know why.
He's gone. Just hide him from the channel. Done.
I just don't know. He starts tagging me like I just
don't even time him out. Just hide. Done. Let him scream into a void.
Well, I don't know. At this point I just kind of enjoyed it. I was waiting for him to show up, and here he is.
Right, well, then I'll take care of it. Send this absolute.
Oh, turn a light on. We can't see you. Turn a light on. Oh my God.
Oh, that is. Oh, it is the screen.
Stupid ass.
Well, talk while I do this since you're refusing to do it.
Do what? If you want to ban, you just click a button.
I'm on Melon, so I got to go in through YouTube.
Oh my God! Look, I just clicked it. There you go. Done.
No,
it's already done.
Bye. Rivadooch. Anyway, I love hiding people, by the way. Somebody the other day was like, they delete mean comments. Yeah, no shit. No shit. First of all, this isn't, I don't know why you think there's freedom of speech here. There's not. I can take out whatever I want in the comment section.
Do you have a mouse pad?
No, it's just directly on this wood tape.
Jesus Christ.
All the people that immediately came here to like trash Parker Porter, I'm not leaving those comments up. Why would I do that?
It's kind of soft.
Yeah, it is soft to people to kick a man while he's down after a fist fight on national TV when they were not even eating tacos al pastor. That's what we were eating. They were eating God knows what. Anyway.
One of us was eating.
What? Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have Ovince St. Preux taking on Philipe Lins. Ovince St. Preux is 26-16 overall. This guy has a very long career so far. 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off the win over Shogun Hua. Philipe Lins is 4-1 in his last 5. 15-5 overall. He's coming off a win in his light heavyweight debut. I actually think that's wrong. I think he's 3-2, not 4-1. Ovince St. Preux, we've broken this guy down 10 million times.
And I think he's only fought twice after the 10 million breakdowns.
It's crazy. He's got all the talent. He's a powerful striker. Good footwork. We don't see him wrestle very often, but he actually averages more than 1 takedown per fight. So he wrestles when there's an opportunity, but he's got a chin on him. He actually has more submission wins than... He's got a good chin. Okay. He has more submission wins than he does knockouts. He actually has multiple Von Flue choke wins. He's actually
I do love my Von Flute. I was calling for that in one of those fights Saturday. You started laughing
I
at
forget
me.
which one. He's actually a well-rounded, talented guy. But this dude is so low volume, refuses to let his hands go, that it's infuriating. It is infuriating. There's so many fights that he could have won if he just pushed a little bit. And he doesn't. He's taking on Philipe Lins. Philipe Lins, like Ovince, was a former heavyweight. He's down at light heavyweight. He's coming off a win in that debut. He does have power in his hands. He seems to have carried that with him. He's a BJJ black belt. He likes to hang outside the pocket and just wing away, though, with some heavy hands. He did showcase his wrestling in his last fight against Marcin Prachnio with 4 takedowns and more than a full round of control time. I like Philipe to get it done. I think this is going to look like every other St. Preux fight. I think this will look exactly like an Ovince St. Preux fight where you will see moments of glory, and he's just not going to let his hands go. He's not going to take advantage. He's not going to come forward. He's not going to do anything like that. He's just going to hang out, get hit, throw one punch at a time, hang out, get hit, throw one punch at a time. And it's unfortunate because he's a talented guy, but he doesn't have the volume, and I can't pick a guy that doesn't go out there and try to win these fights. So Philipe Lins is the pick. The line has taken off, essentially, so a lot of people tend to feel that as well. What do you think, Jacoboy?
Yeah, Lins is definitely going to be picking this matchup for literally exactly what you say. I can trust Lins more than I can trust OSP because, as you mentioned, OSP is perfectly comfortable, just back foot, slowly working around, not doing anything. And if this is a decision fight, obviously that's not a good guy to bet on because you're not going to win doing that very often. But I will say, I think these odds are a little bit disrespectful at plus 200 because Lins in his own right is not like a super dangerous guy. Like he kind of throws power, but it's not like super powerful. He's not an overly powerful guy. His grappling's good, but he's not like a dominant wrestler. It's going to take you to the ground. So I think OSP is a little bit more, I don't want to say live in this matchup than the odds say, but I think that plus 200 is a little bit disrespectful. It's probably plus 130, 150, something like that in my mind. Because Lins is the better fighter. I mean, he's a better overall fighter. He's going to be a little bit better striker. He's got the wrestling he showed in his last fight. This is going to be a gas tank fight. Right, and Lin showed in his last fight that even when he's tired, he can still push the wrestling and get takedowns he needs to win the fight. But both these guys I think, are a little bit chinny. They've both been knocked out TKO by Tanner Boser, which is never a good look. I know he's got
Tanner Boser's. I like Tanner. He's an athletic dude. I like.
Well,
Tanner
he's
Boser.
All right. Well, God bless you for it, but either one of these guys can knock each other out in my mind, but it's probably going to be a weird, boring fight with Lins just kind of hanging on OSP's hips for a while and probably a decision fight, and I got to trust Lins a little bit more. Lins actually could probably be a prospect at 205, but he's like 37 years old already, so.
Yeah, and we've seen heavyweights have longer careers, right? Heavyweights can sort of milk.
Because he looked a lot better at 205 than he did at heavyweight for sure.
Yeah, he's not he's 6'3", he's a big guy, but he's not like a...
And he can out grapple and out wrestle those 205ers a little bit easier.
Sure. No, I don't disagree with you, and it's a shame. It's a shame seeing talented guys that don't let their hands go. It's infuriating, actually. So, line movement, I get it. I agree. It's disrespectful to Ovince St. Preux if you're just looking at his talent, but what he actually does, he doesn't go out there pushing. And what the hell is that?
That's what he does. That's the frat. He's got it burned into his arm. I'm pretty sure that's the frat. What's it called?
$1.99 super chat from Brandon.
Omega something.
Mr. 199 in the building. Thank you very much, Brandon. If you want to be known as Mr. 199, that's fine too, I suppose. But thank you very much. Genuinely appreciate it.
I think he's on the call-in show, right? What?
Potentially. The phones were just, it was hard to keep track of how many people called into that show. It was, it's crazy. My internet almost went out. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have Jamall Emmers. And Jamall Emmers is going to take on Khusein Askhabov. This is another weird line movement. Look at this line. Open minus 235 favorite, now a minus 126 favorite. Jamall Emmers went from plus 200 to plus 100. You get essentially half the value on Jamall Emmers here. And I get it. I can understand how people immediately discredit him. He is 18-6 overall. He's 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Pat Sabatini, but he did absolutely drill Pat Sabatini.
Relax.
In the face before he got his ankle torn off.
Relax.
Khusein Askhabov is 23-0. He is undefeated with 18 stoppages. Jamal's a pretty good dude, right? He's a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's a very good striker. He's even able to hang in there with Giga Chikadze when they fought. And he's actually a wrestler. He has, solid wrestling. He took down Giga twice in a split decision, and he has a 100% takedown defense. So he's got hands, he's got wrestling. He was submitted by Pat Sabatini, but Pat Sabatini's got slick jiu-jitsu. Khusein Askhabov, he's an undefeated prospect. He's good everywhere. He is a Chechen wrestler at his core. He's got wild striking, slick grappling, and he likes to start fights with just super heavy kicks and then throw to the head, close the distance, work in takedowns. And his takedowns are impressive because he can shoot doubles, or go watch his tape. He'll have you against the cage and he will just scoop and pick you clean up. I mean, he's a very talented guy. He has no problem swinging, no problem wrestling. I have a 2-unit money line bet at him and minus 156. There's even. You want to bet? How did this work out for you last time when you did exactly this bullshit?
I don't want to bet. I'm just saying, that's
what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's a boy.
Okay, that's what I thought. Jakey boy, why don't you give us your opinion and why you will not bet him at all?
Well, I think that he should win the fight, but there's a lot of red flags. I'm not putting 2 units on this guy because Jamall Emmers. Let's start with him. The guy is fantastic. I mean, he is very, very well-rounded everywhere. I think he's an underrated striker. He is, when he gets that Muay Thai and he gets those knees going and the elbows, he's a very, very dynamic striker and a very, very good one at that. I mean, he's got some power behind him as well. Angelo mentioned the wrestling. I think he was like a JUCO wrestler, but it looks like, because a lot of people are like the JUCO wrestlers. They come to MMA and they can't really translate that type of wrestling into MMA. They'll get out grappled, they'll get out wrestled. I see his wrestling as pretty solid MMA wrestling. In this matchup, I don't think he's going to use his offensive wrestling. He might. But I think his defensive wrestling might be able to withstand this guy, Khu. And, it's a 3-year layoff. He was a former 135er. So he's coming up in weight, which is a little bit of a concern if you're looking at him until I started looking at his Instagram, right? So I was thinking 3-year layoff, he's coming up in weight. Jamall is a big dude that knows how to wrestle, powerful guy. He's not going to get those, as Angel mentioned, the highlight films are him picking people up, slamming them down. He's not going to do that, Jamall Emmers, from the 135 body that he had, right? He was 25 years old. It's been 3 years. He's 28 years old now. If you look at his Instagram, this dude's been, he's filled out. This dude's a thicky boy now. He is a thicky boy now. I looked at that and I was like, oh shit, he might pick Jamall Emmers up and slam him down. He looks like he has really fine-tuned his game in that 3 years. He's been at, I think his list, he's at Tiger Muay Thai, he's at ATT, so he's at like the top places, and he looks like he has been working his ass off. So I have a feeling that he's probably going to be able to out-wrestle Jamall. But Jamall doesn't really get tired either, and he can still wrestle in the third rounds of the fight. And what we say all the time about these guys that just come in, they've been dominating everyone, 3-year layoff. We don't really know how he's going to perform in the UFC after the first round, right? If Jamal's able to stuff some takedowns, we saw some big favorites and stuff. Obviously, he's not a big favorite, but Angelo thinks he should be a big favorite. We've seen those type of people kind of fade. Jamall Emmers is very, very experienced, a very, very good fighter. I'm not touching Khu on the favorite money, and I might look at something for Emmers if the odds start getting a little bit wider once again, because sometimes they crash down and then they widen back up. But Jamall Emmers is fucking, he's live in this matchup. Live. If he can keep this on the feet, he's a better striker.
Was he a better striker against Thiago Moises?
He's a better striker, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Was he a better striker against Julian Erosa?
Yeah, Thiago Moises. He beat didn't he beat he beat Corey Sandhagen.
He lost. He was put out by Thiago Moises, put out by Julian Erosa. Where's this Corey Sandhagen win?
2017.
2017. What a joke.
Thiago Moises knockouts in 2016. So he came back and beat Corey Sandhagen after he got knocked out by Thiago Moises. Who's fucking fantastic fighter. He was in the 5th round. Jamall Emmers, I'm telling you, man, he's legit.
I think he's got good hands, good wrestling. I'm not trying to discredit Jamall Emmers, but the stupid laughing, fake spit out your bullshit noise.
2 units on that dude is like, that's aggressive. That is aggressive.
So then bet the other side. And that's actually not even the worst.
I might. I'm not going to bet you because I think he could easily lose a fight, but I could find some value on the other side.
I bet you can. I bet you can.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck on your
I don't
search
need
for
fucking
value.
luck. I do enough research. I don't need luck.
Did you? You did research in that Kulibet fight?
He was getting his shit kicked out of him. Literally. Do you not remember that fight? He was getting the shit, and Melsick slips and falls, and then he gets choked out. He was dominating that fight. So, yeah, I did do my fucking research. He was dominating the striking, just like I said. Stupid ass. You just told on yourself.
Did the bet cash?
Oh, my God. I did the research.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Brag about it. Brag about being wrong about
I
a
will.
fight.
I wasn't wrong. I was paid.
You're
I was
just
correct.
like that idiot on Twitter.
I picked the winner.
I told
that was a bad decision.
I told you
that's
that
very
Silva
different.
was going to lose. It's like he didn't fucking lose, asshole.
Yeah, that's very different. I agree with that. Well, last week, in pay-per-view weeks, this always happens to our comment section. Last week, it wasn't trolling like your picks are bad. It was everybody wants to be the comment section hero. Everybody wants to have the best picks. So then they just make the most outrageous ones so that if one of them hits, I told you. Yeah. It's like,
nobody cares if you're wrong.
Yeah, because you can just say whatever you want, and then if you're right, you talk about it. If you're wrong, it doesn't exist. So that was last week.
And nobody really cares if you're right either, to be honest with you.
Literally at all. But that was last
Emmers
week more
is plus
than
102 now, by the way. It's tightening even more in a little bit.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Emmers is good, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is what happened. This exact thing happened at UFC Vegas 68. I was on the wrong side of every single line movement, and I hit every single bet I put on the board. Marcin Tybura.
They don't have props either for this fight. I think they're scared. They're scared of Emmers.
I bet Marcin Tybura at minus 200. He got all the way down to like a minus 130, and boom. It hit. Like that was the story of my UFC Vegas 68. So hopefully that's the case here as well. Because you see the movement, you get yourself worried, and then you realize, okay, yeah, I was right. These idiots were wrong. So we'll see what happens. Listen, Jamal Emmers is good. I'm not going to deny that. He's not better than Askhabov, though. And that's really the only thing that matters here. Guys, if you want to check out that bet and more, including the premium member safety parlay, which I'm not trying to jinx it. Can't miss. Can't miss. Just become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. We're talking 33 cents a day. 33 cents a day, straight up. There's people out here with tiered pricing. There's people that are like, oh, for 15, I'll give you this. For 20, I'll give you this. That's absurd. $10, we're giving you literally everything, and we're working in more stuff.
I like that.
Every
that
single
safety parlay. I'm
month.
looking at it right now. I like that one.
Do you really?
I do. All legs, too. Well,
I didn't do 4 legs for UFC Vegas 68 because I didn't trust 4 fighters. I did 3.
That's not a bad fourth leg.
Thank you very much. I don't remember who I had there, but I appreciate it. Anyway, become a premium member. Can't go wrong. The amount we're giving you for $10 it's not even. You can't find anybody in this space that'll give you that for anywhere near $10. They're all too greedy. Not me. I'm the volume man. We got over 1,500 premium members. And that's how I can afford
1,500 mouse slams.
And that's how I can keep it at $10. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have Lina Lansberg taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. Jacob will vehemently defend himself, saying that Mayra Bueno Silva is an attractive person. This is it. This is what does it for you.
I mean, she's hot. If you see her in the outcome, she's hot. When she's got the hair and the braids and stuff, she's looking good.
you said.
I mean, you say that like the chat's like a. No,
you went like this.
Sorry, I can.
No,
grow,
I know. But
sorry. I'm a grown man. I can grow a beard.
Congratulations on the beard.
Right.
You said she's got that hair, and you went like this, like you were talking about. She has a mustache. It was the timing.
No, but
it was the timing.
I mean, I think the chat's gonna agree with me that she is.
She's not attractive. I think Lina Lansberg is literally more attractive than Mayra. Between these two women, Lina Lansberg is the more attractive.
Literally,
person.
get me the fuck out of here. I mean, how do I leave?
Arrivederci. We have Lina Lansberg taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. Lina Lansberg's 10-7 overall, 2-3 in her last 5, riding a 3-fight losing streak. She's taking on Mayra Bueno Silva, who's 9-2 overall, 3-1-1 in her last 5, coming off the first round submission win over Stephanie Egger. And it's an interesting fight to break down because Lina Lansberg is a world champion Muay Thai
grandmother.
Striker. World champion Muay Thai striker. She's a very, very good striker. She can't defend a takedown to save her life, but she's a very good striker. Mayra Bueno Silva is pretty good everywhere, decent striker, but a good grappler, very good on the ground, but has no wrestling. So this is an interesting fight because Mayra Bueno Silva should absolutely 100% win this fight. It should be one of the easiest fights on the card to pick, one of the easiest fights on the card to bet. She absolutely should be able to get this done. But if she can't get her wrestling going, she's going to have issues. She literally has 0 takedowns in the UFC. 0. She has 4 submission wins and 0 takedowns in the UFC. And that's not from lack of trying. And Lina Lansberg is not going to take down Mayra Bueno Silva. Why would she do that? So this isn't going to be like Bueno Silva's last fight against Stephanie Egger, where she was taken down, immediately threw up an armbar and got it done. So Mayra Bueno Silva is going to win this fight. She's my pick. I'm pretty confident in that, but it's not ridiculous that Lina could just light her up on the feet because she's definitely going to be the better striker, I think, without question, right? You're okay. And Mayra doesn't have very good takedowns. Jakey boy, what do you think? I'll bet you in this fight.
What?
Well, you want to make these stupid ass faces and then have the same
side. We're picking the same side, and you're asking.
So then, why are you making the faces?
What faces are you talking about? Oh my God, I'm just sitting here, just enjoying the commentary. Okay. Holy shit! Listen, Lina Lansberg is might be the better technical striker, but the way that she fights in the UFC and MMA, especially lately, is she doesn't really strike. I know that she had like the knockdown and stuff and this and that, but where she wants to be and where she wants to spend the entire fight is just holding people against the cage, right? That's all she wants to do is get in a clinch and just hold them against the cage and just hold them against the cage. And as Angelo mentioned, Bueno Silva is also a Muay Thai striker herself, right? So she doesn't mind the clinch positions. Doesn't really have the open mat takedowns, so that is also concerning because you see, for whatever reason, people always play the game that Lina wants to play. That's how, the last fight, she almost won that fight because Carol Rosa kept playing the game, and Lina is pretty good at holding people against the cage. People think they can circle up, but she's pretty good in those positions, so I agree. This fight could be a little bit closer than we think. I love Bueno Silva. She was the lock of the week. She got the armbar. I think that was the first submission lock of the week win of all time. What she needs to do is when those clinch exchanges happen, she needs to have trips and judo ready because as Angel mentioned, if you get Lina to the ground, even though Bueno Silva is not a dominant wrestler, she should be able to do whatever she wants down there just with her jiu-jitsu. So when those clinch positions start happening, you got to be ready with those trips, inside out, so the judo, the arm throw, whatever you need to do to get this fight to the ground because that's where you're going to dominate because I agree. I think it's a little bit closer on the feet. I still think Bueno Silva can win with her pressure and her power in the striking. I think she's a little bit underrated as a striker. Lina just wants to be in those clinch positions. I think she loses because of it if Bueno Silva is ready. But it seems for whatever reason, people don't understand that's what Lina wants to do, and they just put their back against the fence, and they're just like, holy shit, what do I do now? Hopefully Bueno Silva is not that one. So I think Bueno Silva gets this fight to the ground in some capacity and finishes it there. But, I don't disagree. This could get a little bit interesting.
Yeah, like I'm very, very confident in Bueno Silva, but also fully recognize her skill gaps line up directly with Lina's skill strengths, and that's the issue. But
yeah, Lina isn't overly dominant in the striking. There's kind of a wash there, and Bueno Silva is just so much better on the ground. That's why the odds are the way they are.
And she should absolutely win. And she's been beating almost she's only losing to better women in the division. We have a $10 $9.99 super chat from Joey T. If you haven't, smash that like button and become a premium member. It's an easy membership, and you get your money back easily. Also, Jacob, Silva looks like the creepy woman from the movie Smile poster. No, that is funny. Yeah, this isn't the best smile I've seen in one of these pictures. And I didn't go looking for this.
I kind of like it. It's kind of like
I bet you do. Thank you very much. That does look like it. No,
like,
that looks like... No, you know who that smile right there? That looks like the kid from Napoleon Dynamite, the Spanish kid.
Pedro?
Yeah. That's that awkward smile. That's the awkward smile. Hey.
It's not awkward. It's like intriguing. She's like, hey.
You don't think you think this is an intriguing and not
if that woman right there is across the bar from me and I look up and she's looking at me with that look, I'm going all in. I'm risking it all. I don't even care if I'm married at that point.
She's all of 5'6". You will 100% be looking up. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have the main card opener. We have Jim Miller taking on Alexander Hernandez. Jim Miller, 35-16 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a nice 3-fight win streak. Alexander Hernandez is 13-6 overall. 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off the knockout loss to Billy Q. This is another interesting fight. I do understand this line movement. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand this line movement, right? Alexander Hernandez is 30. Jim Miller's 59 years old. Alexander Hernandez does have fast hands. He can hit hard. He can grapple. Jim Miller has decent technical striking, can grapple really well. So I do understand the line movement, right? They're looking at age, youth, speed, power, all of that should be on the Alexander Hernandez side. The problem is, as much as I love Alexander Hernandez, and I've picked him way too many times to count, he just can't seem to put together some of these wins. And it's tough because he's just such a tough guy to break down, because in some of these fights, he looks like if he gets 2-3 wins together, he could fight for a title. He's that good. He's good. He's literally good everywhere. The problem is he has like brain fart moments or doesn't
like
put
Kevin
it together.
Lee. It's kind of like the new Kevin Lee, honestly. Kevin Lee is top talent and just kept losing. But he's back, baby, and he's gonna be the champ. He's gonna smoke Islam.
I didn't.
Oh no, he's come back to 170.
I didn't know you were this big Kevin Lee fan. That's what
I for whatever reason, I know a lot of people. He's like a cornball, and he has all these like sayings and stuff. What's that famous thing he always says? Oh, I see holes in his game. He says every time I see holes in his game, whatever. Everyone hates him, whatever. But he's legit, like very good. He legit is very, very good. So I think I more felt bad for him than anything because he kept losing. But I do like Kevin Lee.
Well, so Alexander Hernandez, very talented, literally good everywhere, but just seems to struggle in some of these spots. Jim Miller, very good grappler, not an amazing wrestler, but he can get takedowns if he needs them. He's got good technical striking, but he is old. He's a little bit stiff. His chin isn't what it used to be. Alexander Hernandez should absolutely win this fight, right? He should be faster. He should be stronger. He should hit harder. He should have the better takedowns if he wants them. He won't have the better raw jiu-jitsu. I see this as a striking match. I do see Alexander Hernandez winning this. I think Jim Miller's finally going to look old, because even in his loss to Billy Quarantillo and even in some of Alexander Hernandez's losses, he doesn't look slow. He doesn't look powerless. He's just not winning those fights, as dumb as it sounds, where Jim's going to look slow in this fight, unfortunately. So I do like Alexander Hernandez in this spot. I'm not betting him. I cannot trust this man with my money, so I am not betting him. I'm keeping every penny in my pocket. I'll probably be rooting for Jim Miller, frankly. This guy's done enough for us as fans that we should be rooting for him every time out. But Hernandez is going to be the pick, but absolutely under no circumstances am I spending money on him. What do you think?
I cannot believe that there are people, and it seems like actually there aren't people because the line's moving the opposite way. I can't believe there were people that were putting money on Alexander Hernandez at anything minus 200. I can't even believe that he's the favorite in this matchup because of the lack of trust in his fights. I mean, as you mentioned, he looks great until he doesn't. And once he starts looking bad, he looks absolutely awful. And I think this is a matchup nightmare for Jim Miller, because Jim Miller's been there. He's done it. He's seen it all. He's seen the young guys. He's seen the old guys. He's seen the strikers. He's seen the wrestlers. Alex Hernandez is probably going to look great in the first 2 minutes of the fight. He's going to come through. He's going to be going crazy. He might stun Jim Miller. Then Jim Miller gets on his legs, and then all of a sudden, you're going to see that tide start to flip. Because when Alexander Hernandez gets pressed and he gets pushed and he starts getting punched in the face, he just starts fading, and Jim Miller will be absolutely all over him in this matchup. I love the experience in this matchup. I like the toughness that Jim Miller has shown, the resurgence in his last 3 wins. He's looked great. He's shown power. He's shown some. I mean, I just absolutely think it's a matchup nightmare for Alexander Hernandez, and a guy that has gone down in weight. He's coming back up in weight. I hate those guys that are trying to chase something else, right? He couldn't figure it out at 155, so he said, let me be a weight bully at 145, and then he still got outworked and lost. Now he's like, okay, now I need to go back to 155. I can't trust people that are looking for a new career by changing weight classes like that. As you said, very talented guy, explosive. He's kind of that complete fighter that you're looking for. I'm taking the experience here in Jim Miller. I think he outworks this kid.
I'll be rooting for Jim for sure, 100%. I disagree with the pick, obviously, but I will be rooting for Jim. How can you not? How can you not? He's a likable guy. He's not Volkanovski likable. Nobody is. That dude's the most likable guy in the sport.
Oh,
but
you said that he was going to get mauled, right?
But I never said anything. He wasn't likable. Jesus Christ. Very likable guy. I'm rooting for him for sure, but I do think Alexander Hernandez is just going to be too much. I think Jim's finally going to look old for sure. So Alexander Hernandez is my pick. Jim Miller is yours. We do not have DraftKings pricing because we're filming this on Monday. DraftKings doesn't come out till Tuesday, but Tuesday's Valentine's Day. And I know you guys love us, but, try to find a woman. Spend this time with a woman or a man. Yep. We do have a very diverse audience.
Men are much easier.
My life would be easier if Tiffany was a little more of the man mindset.
Mindset.
Yeah, I was choosing words very carefully that whole time. Okay. Of the mindset. Yeah, easy to please. Sure. Yes, let's do this. Oh, of course. Absolutely. But you and Ernie can hang out. You and Ernie are completely free tomorrow night. Like literally nothing to do.
Not me.
What are you doing? Oh, he glitched out. Oh, he was just about to tell us about his incredible Valentine's Day plans, and looks like his internet went out. What a shame that is. Guys, I will take a moment. It's a bit tits, like it's just little blurbs of like whatever filthy.
And then she
2 dogs in a bathtub. Anyway, boy, 2 dogs in a bathtub is a callback from a conversation we had a long time ago on this stream. I am going to take a second here to thank all of you because we passed the 10,000 subscriber mark, and that's huge in this space. There's not a lot of people anywhere near that. We passed the 10,000 subscriber mark, and we appreciate that very much. But what's even more impressive is our subscriber to view ratio absolutely crushes. There are people with 20,000, 15,000, 30,000 that do not do the views that we do, let alone the ratio that we have. So thank you all very, very much. What did you just write down? Hopefully it was a thank you letter to the people. So thank you all very much for everything, all the views, all the likes, the comments, all of that. That vlog was just an idea. I was like, guys, I have you over every weekend or for all the pay-per-views. I cook all this food. Let's just record it and see what happens. It's not our number one viewed video because obviously it's different content. So, not everybody's going to be there yet. But the ratio of views to likes and comments is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So thank you all very much. It is all.
Vivant peaks.
None of this goes beyond us. Regardless of how many times I'll plug premium, I hope you guys also see that I'm working for that premium and we're making it better and better every day. So thank you all very much. You're all appreciated. That was my love letter. My love letter.
We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Love you.
Next up at UFC Vegas 69, we have William Knight taking on Marcin Prachnio. William Knight, 11-4 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off the TKO loss to Devin Clark. Marcin Prachnio, 15-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off that grappling loss to Philipe Lins, who we broke down earlier in his light heavyweight debut. This is an interesting fight to break down because William Knight, if you go check out his Instagram, he may be in the best shape any human being's ever been in the history of
time. Jesus, is that guy just... Nobody loves the gym more than that guy. That's the God honest truth, too.
It's absolutely nuts. The problem is that energy should be spent on honing in his MMA skills. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We're both from Connecticut.
He is a bodybuilder that sometimes fights MMA. I mean, that's not even a bodybuilder, but like a power lifter that sometimes fights. I mean, that's literally what he is.
You're right. He's He's what you would expect him to be with that physique. He's incredibly powerful. He's incredibly fast. He actually has pretty good cardio, which you would not expect with that physique. And he can wrestle. He's not the greatest wrestler, but he can wrestle. He can get those takedowns. He can work from there. The problem is he's a bit inconsistent. He showed up to that one fight 12 pounds overweight. I get that was short notice, but he didn't. He told everybody he was fine. He did all these things. Showed up 12 pounds overweight and then decided what he was going to do is curse everybody out, blame everybody else for being heavy, make his Instagram private. And he has like these legit emotional roller coasters before and after fights. And sometimes he shows up looking like a world beater. Sometimes he shows up and it's just like, my God, like, what are you doing here? And I can't trust that guy. He's fighting Marcin Prachnio, who at one point was a really big prospect. He came into the UFC undefeated. He dropped 3 fights in a row by first round knockout. He has over 400 combat karate wins. He has a really long list of accomplishments. He's an actual martial artist. His MMA style is, he does brawl, but it is technical. He'll get into a firefight. The problem is he doesn't really have the chin to be there. But I think he's going to be the better fighter in this matchup for sure. If he doesn't get put out by William Knight, which is a concern, of course, somebody that hits as hard as William, as fast as William, and Prachnio will get caught up in a firefight. I like Prachnio to win this fight. I just, as impressive as William Knight is, I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. And I feel like I can't trust him. And real quick, I post all of these graphics to Instagram. I tag the fighters in everything that we do, right? It'd be disrespectful not to. And I just get a DM, send me that picture. So then I sent it. It's like, hey, man, like, like it. Say, hey, how you doing? Oh, that's nice. Do you make this?
What? What did you
mind
just
if
say?
I use it?
What were you just talking about? I was just zoned out, just staring in William Knight's eyes, honestly.
I said I post all of these graphics to Instagram. I posted not this one, but this one to Instagram. And he DM'd us on Instagram saying, send me this picture.
Who, William Knight did?
Yeah, so I sent it, which is fine. But no, like,
damn.
No, like, hey, this is nice. Oh, did you make this? Can I use nothing? Just send me this picture.
He said, send it, little bro. And you did it too.
Meanwhile, everybody else will take our picture and put it in their story, and then we get tagged in it. So, fuck that guy. I got 1 unit on Marcin Prachnio. I'm not even kidding. I got 1 unit on Marcin Prachnio. It is the riskiest for conservative Ange. Conservative Ange. I have a little
conservative Ange isn't saying fuck you to William Knight. I tell you that. Holy shit.
I have a lot of buyer's remorse. A lot of buyer's remorse on that bet.
Good.
Because Prachnio's chin is a bit worrisome, but I'm going to ride or die with it. He's going to be the better fighter. I think he gets it done, but don't tail that bet. Don't tail that bet.
Who would win in a grappling match between you and William? You're about the same weight, probably. Him off season.
Listen, I'm a fat mess right now, but also
not seeing the confidence I normally hear about your wrestling.
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
He's a Connecticut wrestler. I'm a Connecticut wrestler. If I was in shape, no problems. No problems whatsoever. Manchester, that's the team he wrestled for. No problems at all. None. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
William, let's send the DM and let's get this going because I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I couldn't wait for him
way
to
too fat.
just fucking
I'm way too fat.
Shoulder press you and throw you across the fucking mat.
Maybe
oh
before.
My God. William, please, for the love of God, William, if you have to drop this fight to start training for Angelo, please.
He doesn't need to train for me.
All I want in my life is for you to accept this. We get this done, and you just absolutely put this dude in his place. Please, William. Please. Listen, we need it. We need it so hard. Oh
I don't disagree with you. And I would never fist fight this man.
No,
ever.
I'm just talking about straight wrestling, straight grappling, submissions, whatever it is.
Listen.
Oh, my God. I can't wait. He hits you in like a head and arm. He just squeezes that fucking bicep around your fucking. And your cheeks are just like.
That's assuming I get taken down. I got to lose a few pounds.
Oh my God! If you let's say you just take him down, dude, that guy is so strong. He would just go whoop and just sweep you, put you on your back, and just pop your head off of your shoulders.
I took down Brennan Ward twice in our grappling match at Naga. Twice.
15 years ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about today. I'm not saying last Wednesday.
Well, you're saying right now you can beat William Knight. That's what I'm saying.
No, I literally said I'd have to lose a few and get in shape. That's what I said. I mean, Brennan Ward ultimately. I don't want to mislead. I don't want to mislead people. Brennan Ward ultimately submitted me, but I took his ass down twice.
Listen. Jacob, I'll get to my breakdown. I'll make it short and sweet. After all that, neither one of these guys can be trusted at this point. Like I said, William Knight, loved the guy. He was a former lock of the week, and then he missed weight and stuff. It threw the whole lock of the week thing off, so I'm a little bit bitter about that. But I'm going to pick him in this matchup. I just think that his explosiveness is a perfect matchup versus Prachnio, because Prachnio, as you mentioned, kind of that karate guy, but once he starts getting hit, I mean, that dude is one of the worst nails I've ever seen. He's not even a great hammer, and at least I know William can become a hammer, because once he starts going, right, and this 1.5 line is feels like a trap, because plus 150, under 1/2 feels like, oh yeah, let's jump on that. But I keep looking at it, and I think these guys might stare at each other. William is one of those guys that will just kind of wait and wait and wait. But once he starts going, and if Prachnio starts doing what he does, and that's just kind of shell up against the fence, William Knight's just going to lay it on this dude and put him out. He's not going to stop. So I'm going to go William Knight in this matchup. I think it's a good matchup for him. His explosiveness, his aggressiveness, and his power, once it starts laying on Prachnio, I think he folds up shop and goes home. I think that's the type of fighter he is. So I'm picking William Knight in this matchup. And that's what it is.
Yeah,
he's a favorite now too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have buyer's remorse on that bet for sure. And I did the bet with, I basically was like, he's a better fighter. Prachnio's the better. I think we both agree he's the better fighter, right? But then it comes down to physicality, speed, stuff like that. And it's like, I placed the bet. Then I kept looking at it after I placed it. And it's like, he does want to bang. If Prachnio wanted to stay on the outside and pick apart, or would work, fight like Devin Clark did, great. But he doesn't. So I have a little buyer's remorse on that bet. Don't just tail.
I mean, there was a moment too in that first round where Devin Clark. First of all, William Knight hung onto that guillotine for like 3.5 minutes, and I've never seen a bigger bicep in my life. It was the craziest thing. But I think there was a moment after that where he kind of put hands on Devin. Devin started running a little bit, which is kind of what Prachnio does when you're pressured. You saw that against Philipe Lins as well. And William Knight just charging. I mean, just throwing absolute
he's
bombs.
A dog. He's a dog.
And Devin Clark is much tougher in that situation. Knew how to react a lot more than Prachnio is going to react. So that's kind of how I see it. I think it's slow. William, boom. Prachnio kind of shows up, and William just fucking pounces on him.
I regret the bet. I regretted it almost immediately when I placed it. But when Jacob and I give you all of our bets for premium, those are literally our bets. Literally. They're not fake bets that we put up. Oh, maybe this. It's actually what we have done with our money. And that includes buyer's remorse and mistakes. I had a bet the other day. It was only supposed to be a half a unit. I submitted it. I didn't see my balance go down. So I hit it again. And then it went both times. And it was a full $100. I was like, shit.
I did that with the Bengals in the I think I did 250, and then 250 was like 500. I was like, oh shh. And I think they lost too. But I was in Vegas, so I didn't really care at that point.
Well, and then I was like, listen, should I put it at a half? I'm like, I'm just going to put it as what it is, because if it hits, I want to take credit for it. So it is what it is. But anyway, in all seriousness, I do think William Knight can win this fight. He's got all the talent. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but literally the private Instagram thing, missing weight by 12 pounds.
I mean, we don't even know if he's going to make weight. I mean, I know he's kind of rededicated and stuff, but the first fight is against the scale, especially for a guy like this. So we'll see if he even can make weight at this point, honestly.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes for sure. But the money is literally on Prachnio. Don't tail that. And it could be a really fun fight. So one of these dudes, actually, what I did find, I put this in the Discord.
Here we go.
William Knight by knockout is plus 185. Marcin Prachnio by knockout is plus 210.
215.
And that's how this fight's gonna. One of these dudes is gonna knock out the other. Somebody's like, Marcin Prachnio hasn't knocked anybody else.
I mean, I could see
one of these dudes is gonna knock out the other, or TKO. One of them is.
I'm saying William Knight by submission plus 1200.
Okay, and that's why I yell at you.
Well, I'm thinking Prachnio shells up, tries to shoot a takedown, and William, you saw he's happy to jump on that neck. He's been in grappling tournaments. I think he's been.
He's a good grappler. He was going to grapple Nick Newell at one point, but then that didn't materialize.
I think he might snatch a neck here, but we'll see.
We will see.
We will see.
Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Josh Parisian taking on Jamall Pogues. Josh Parisian's 15-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, alternating wins and losses. Jamall Pogues 9-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, making his official UFC debut. And this is an interesting fight with some very interesting line movement because I am on the Josh Parisian side. I think he comes at you with volume, a lot of output. That Parker Porter fight, I spent a lot of time talking about how he's a volume guy and how he set the heavyweight significant strike record and then broke his own record. Well, that fight was with Josh Parisian, who also threw that many strikes, right? He is a volume guy who can hang, and he comes forward. The volume does come at a cost because he'll slow down later. He has 10 knockouts under his belt, not really in the UFC, but we also just watched him win a grappling match. He came out, he beat Alan Badeau, heavy grappling game plan. And he's fighting UFC newcomer Jamall Pogues, which is interesting because he is a busy heavyweight. He's always throwing something, whether it's a kick, a punch. He does have decent volume. He sets a nice pace, but he's not a big power guy. He is not a big power heavyweight. He's not this big explosive heavyweight. I'm actually kind of surprised that this is the heavyweight the UFC is trying to push here, because I think that's what this matchup is. When they pushed Waldo, I forget Waldo's last name, you get it, right? Waldo's powerful. He dances. He's a showman. He does all things. Jamall Pogues is just, he's good, but he's like very level, even
feels like a younger Josh Parisian, honestly.
He's very level. He's very even keeled. He'll move forward. He'll do what he needs to do. So I was surprised, they definitely want him to get a win here. I think Parisian's going to win this fight because I think it's a very close-ish fight talent-wise, but Parisian has the higher level experience. He has the UFC level of experience. He's gotten some wins in the UFC, and I think he'll continue to beat these type opponents, the inexperienced ones or the ones that are aging. So I like Josh Parisian in this matchup. This money continues to move. I'm surprised. And the other thing is Jamall doesn't really move his head when he strikes. It's not going to matter too much because Josh is not a big power guy. Neither one of these are power guys. I was hoping that we would get lucky with a 1.5 round because they're heavyweights, but that did not happen. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I will say I think that breakdown is 100% correct. I'm going to go with Jamall just because I think he has a wrestling advantage. The issue is I don't think he's going to use his wrestling. I think he's just comfortable on the feet. Josh is hittable enough that I think Jamall just does what he does. As Angel mentioned, kind of pokes around, and both these guys, I think it's a sloppy, boring fight. Each one of them has a kind of a moment here, a moment there, but Jamall is just going to be a little bit more active and a little bit laying just maybe like a 2-to-1 ratio over Josh because he's going to dance around. He's going to throw that jab out there. He's going to keep landing that jab. And Josh is just a little bit too sloppy against a fighter like that. But I cannot believe there's people putting money at minus 200 for a guy like Jamall. As you mentioned, isn't really a finisher, isn't overly dominant anywhere. He's a pretty good fighter. But at heavyweight, anything can happen. And I want to see an aspect of MMA in a heavyweight fighter that they are just much more dominant than the other person to put minus 200 money on. And I just don't see it in Jamall. Like I said, I think if this fight gets to the ground, he can control that with Josh, but I'm not convinced that he's going to come in and dedicate to the wrestling because Josh is so hittable. He's going to have success. I think this is a close back and forth fight, and Josh got that dog in him. I mean, Angel mentioned the experience. He's got that dog. He's got a little bit of a dog in him, so if push comes to shove and it comes down to third round, who's going to win toughness, I would pick Josh in that matchup. So this might be a live bet situation where all of a sudden, if Jamal's winning the first, Josh is winning the second, this is 1-1. It might be you can get some dog money on Josh and kind of go with that. But I'm going to pick Jamall because I think he is the better fighter. But I'm not putting it's not a parlay piece. That's not a money line piece. That's not even like an inside the distance piece. I mean, that is just like I'm going to pick them and sit back and enjoy the fight, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the line's moving the other way, man. Josh Parisian up to plus 210.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So,
it's crazy.
I'll take. And if you want to do Josh Parisian by decision, you'll get even more ridiculous odds. And frankly, it's a close fight. If Josh Parisian wins, it's likely by decision. So I'll take a closer look. I'm not I'm not willing to throw anything on it just yet, but
Parisian
I will take
by
a closer
points
look.
plus 400.
I mean, Jesus, man.
Parisian plus 3.5 is minus 110, so you can get even money at plus. And all he has to do is win a round. That's interesting.
That is interesting. I actually think I'm going to hit that.
That's an interesting bet.
Next time you're talking, I'll hit that because Pogues isn't a finisher, and I don't think he'll shut out Josh. So, yeah, I'll probably take that bet.
We know how judges for some reason just hate 30-27s and stuff like that. There's always those weird rounds. And it's great when you have the 3.5, but when you have the minus 3.5, that's not a good situation.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to know when I place that bet or if I place that bet and any other, make sure you have linked your premium account to the Discord. The Discord's 100% free. Anybody can go in the Discord, chat it up, share your picks, share your bets, do whatever you want. If you're a premium member and you link your Discord, you have access to a channel where we load it up with every bet and every pick the minute we do them, which means you will get alerts on your phone. So you will get an alert on your phone the very second that I place
one
a
in
bet.
there. I put one in there a little bit ago. I'm about to update the premium right now. So speak of
there
the
you go.
devil. If you want to see this bet I'm placing right now, just place it.
So you're going to get an alert on your phone as soon as that bet comes through. If you're not a premium member, become one. It's $10 a freaking month. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke with what we're giving you. It doesn't cost me more than $10 a month per person to run it. But by the time we pay the multiple people that make all of this work, I'm still going to keep it at that $10 price point because I care about value. Jacob, you know what my goal is here? My goal...
I know what your goal is
to make $10 the most insignificant amount of money.
I thought you meant your weight loss goal.
Is to make the most insignificant amount of money anybody has ever spent in this space. Because there are people out there charging $50 per event. Few and far between. And there's people out there charging $15 a month for just an optimizer, or $10 for just an optimizer.
It makes me sick. It honestly makes me sick how there's people in this space, in this community that are taking advantage of all you guys. And I'm just glad that we came around to kind of right the ship.
You're saying that sarcastically. And
I'm not saying that sarcastically. Fuck everyone else.
Oh, I've never, and you know me, I'll set the world on fire. I will set the world on fire to win, period.
You're like, oh, you ready? You ready to do this?
Let's go. We ride tonight. But no, in all seriousness, it'll stay at $10 forever. And when you look across the space, if you see something that you want that we don't have, let us know. Because we continue to add things like we just did the line movement tracker. And we have some very, very advanced statistics coming your way. Josh, both Joshes. We got two Joshes. We have a Josh that works the numbers, a Josh that works the website. Both Joshes are working on the best way to get that squared so that it's digestible information and not just this insane spreadsheet that's hard to understand. So all of that is coming your way, $10 a month. Just click become a member at WeWantPicks.com. Very easy. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have Zach Pauga taking on Jordan Wright. Zach Pauga, 5-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss in the Ultimate Fighter finale, but keep in mind that was at heavyweight. Jordan Wright is 12-4 overall, 1-4 in his last 5, coming off 3 stoppage losses in a row. And that's the story of Jordan Wright. This guy is kill or be killed. He has a 100% finish rate, 16 professional fights. 16 of them have ended by finish. His last 2 fights, though, he's turned into a bit of a grappler. It's like he's realized, hey, my chin is not going to hang in these wars. I need to add an element. I need to be a little more dangerous elsewhere. And he's added some grappling. It also has not gone his way, but he has added some grappling to his arsenal here. And Zach Pauga, he's a light heavyweight. He went up to heavyweight for the Ultimate Fighter, made his way to the finale, got put out in the finale by a much larger, heavy-hitting heavyweight.
And he was put out.
He was absolutely...
that was the long nap.
No, he was absolutely put out, but you went up to heavyweight, right? That's what's going to happen. You go up to heavyweight, you start swinging away. But he is a very strong wrestler, and he typically doesn't hide that wrestling game plan. He's got a nice low stance. He'll pump the jab. He'll throw a couple overhands and boom, start wrestling. Jordan Wright does have some power, right? He's winning these fights by finish. It's easy to say he's losing by finish, but he's winning by finish as well. So he's dangerous. He's dynamic. I do imagine Zach gets this done. The line movement makes complete sense to me. Frankly, Zach's going to be the pick. There's no value anywhere. Zach inside the distance is big minus money. Like there's literally no value anywhere.
Minus 160.
Yeah, there's no value anywhere on this. There just isn't. So I'm not going to bet it, but that's not because I don't have confidence, right? Zach should absolutely get this done. I'm not going to spend 3 units on a dude with 6 professional fights to win 1 unit back. I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to leave it alone, but Zach's definitely the pick, and we'll see what happens. What do you think, Chucky boy?
Yeah, I'm actually a Jordan Wright fan. I believe he was the lock of the week at some point because I said that he was going to wrestle. I said he was going to grapple. He's a very, very underrated grappler, and I told you guys that. He came in, he started grappling, he was looking good, then he got caught in a guillotine. I'm like, no, what are you doing? Because it was the perfect call. I said he was going to come in and win that fight. That's how he's got to fight. I mean, we just, at this point, we have to accept that Jordan Wright just sucks. And I'm not saying he sucks overall, but he definitely sucks on the feet, and he just can't clean it up. He just cannot clean it up. The way that he fights on the feet is just blitz forward, chin up in the air, and sometimes he does land a shot. And against Zach, who just got put out very, very bad. That was only, like 6-7 months ago? I think it was in August. So, I mean, he was, put out. So maybe there is an outside chance that Jordan can come in, strike, and finds that shot, but this is moving up in weight. Again, this is another guy that's trying to find a new spot. He's moving up weight. But guess what? At 205, people hit even harder, Jordan. I know they're not as fast, but they hit even harder. And they're harder to wrestle. They're harder to grapple. You're not going to be the big guy at 185 that's going to be able to out-grapple these guys. These are guys who are even bigger. And as Angel mentioned, Zach can wrestle as well. I think this is just an absolute nightmare matchup for Jordan Wright. And, I played the under 1.5. I feel pretty good about it. I might load up even more. The only thing that cautions me a little bit is that both these guys are coming off knockout loss. Jordan Wright's been getting finished like crazy. Maybe they just kind of stare at each other. But at the end of the day, that's just not who Jordan Wright is. He can't reinvent himself that quickly to be this slow, methodical striker, mixing some takedowns. He's going to come forward. He's going to do some wild shit, and he's probably going to get knocked out because of it. But I like Jordan Wright, man. His fights are always fun. They're always entertaining. This is a weird co-main event, but it's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun getting ready for the main event. I'll be rooting for him. I hope he pulls it off because it'll be a lot of fun. But at this point, he just got zero chin, and I don't think he can out-wrestle the 205ers like he could the 185ers. So I got to go with Zach, unfortunately.
I hear you. A couple people asking for the Discord link. You can get it in the description of every one of our videos, or if you go to WeWantPicks.com, at the top, there's literally just a button, join the Discord. Just click that, and there you go. You're in the Discord. It is a weird co-main event. I agree with you, because I thought I heard Tiffany opening the door, trying to scare me or some nonsense. Is your girlfriend there?
No, she's getting waxed for tomorrow night.
So it is a weird co-main because I don't know who they're trying to push here. Because if Jordan Wright wins, great, he's fun, but he's now 2 wins and 3 savage knockouts. What?
I thought you were trying to do the math on the last 5. Now he's now 2 and the
no,
last
I was
5.
Yeah,
I think that's what you're doing.
But Zach is coming off a vicious knockout. Only 6 professional fights. So weird co-main, but should be a fun co-main. As a fan, it's great. For the division, doesn't really mean anything at all.
We'll be going crazy on the live stream.
That's right. Is it a normal start time?
Pray to God it is.
I agree. Some of these weird, there's only 11 fights, so we may end up with 12, but we'll see what happens. Next up, at UFC Vegas 69, we have the main event of the evening, the new matchup for the main event of the evening. Jessica Andrade is stepping up on, as far as we know, 1 week's notice, right? They announced it during UFC 284, so a full week before.
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
There you go. And she's stepping up because the original opponent has dropped. Jessica Andrade, 24-9 overall, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off the absolute destruction of Lauren Murphy at UFC 283. And she's taking on Erin Blanchfield, grappling wonderkin, 10-1 overall, 5-0 in her last 5. And her only loss in her entire career was against Tracy Cortez in 2019.
Ooh, single Tracy Cortez. By the way, Tracy, if you're watching this, I sent you a few DMs you have yet to answer, but I think you're going to want to read those. And open the picture.
And zoom in. Just zoom in a little bit.
You and I both know.
Why would I know anything?
Don't be coy.
Jessica Andrade, a former world champion, former contender at multiple weight classes. She's been able to have success everywhere against everyone in every matchup at one point in time. Her only losses are to literal champions. If we go through her entire record, all 9 of those people are champs or number 1 contenders or very close to it. Erin Blanchfield is very talented. Erin Blanchfield's a very good grappler. She's dangerous on the ground. Her striking is pretty stiff, but she is young, tenacious, and willing to get after it and try to get that win. But Jessica Andrade is a different animal. She picked up Rose Namajunas clean, dumped her on her head. She just beat the absolute piss out of Lauren Murphy. And what was most impressive about that is she looked technical doing it. Because typically Jessica Andrade is not the most technical person in the world. Oh, you think she's very technical?
I don't want to interrupt.
Thanks for the professionalism. She's typically not the most professional person in the world. Professional. She's typically not the most technical person in the world, but she looked pretty technical in that Lauren Murphy fight. She was touching her when she was supposed to touch her, moving around. She wasn't just trying to be a bully. Well, and that impressed me more than if she just went out there and pushed Lauren around and dumped her. Because, wow, she can win these fights without just sheer strength and muscling her way through. I think Jessica Andrade absolutely gets this done. I'm confident in Jessica Andrade to get this done. The line has moved a bit. I think she's minus 150 now. So the line has moved. But, that's the short notice talking. Because if this was full camp versus full camp, there's no way Jessica Andrade is only a minus 150 favorite. If it's full camp,
that's minus 275, minus 300.
I mean, legit.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's hard. Well, you say everything with your stupid ass sarcastic. It's hard to
what?
So listen, I fully recognize if Erin Blanchfield gets it to the ground, it could be a little sketch, could get a little dicey. But I think Andrade is a BJJ black belt. She's obviously well accomplished. She's been in there with the best on the planet. I absolutely think she gets this done. So Jessica Andrade is the pick, even on short notice. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Let me preface everything I'm about to say with you probably should not listen to me, but you probably should at the same time because I am a very biased and well-known Erin Blanchfield hater. I just do not think that she's as good as everyone thinks she does or everyone thinks that she is. She came in Miranda Maverick. She surprised her. She got the takedown. She kind of bullied Miranda Maverick. We've since learned that Miranda Maverick is a little bit overrated in her own right. I know that she is kind of a wrestler, and Blanchfield did it, kind of out-wrestle her, but she really hasn't shown the improvements that you'd like to see as a prospect. Then she fights J.J. Aldrich. Was getting absolutely steamrolled. I mean, JJ was doing whatever she wanted in that fight. Blanchfield's face was like, oh shit, what do I do now? You could see there was a sense of panic. There was a sense of no plan B. I was supposed to dominate this girl. I'm not dominating. Now what do I do? Type situations. Then she finds that that guillotine that saves her in that fight. She was on her way to just getting absolutely dominated in that fight. And then she fights Molly McCann. It's and I made Molly McCann my lock of the week. That was a very bad lock of the week. But the reason I made it was because I don't think Erin Blanchfield is that good. And if she can bully people, she's going to look fantastic. You saw that in the Miranda Maverick fight. You saw that in the Molly McCann fight, that when she can get in those positions, she's very strong in those positions, and she's going to look fantastic when she looks fantastic. The flip side is, when she's not looking good, how can you respond? And that's what makes a good fighter, when things aren't going your way. You saw that with Volk this weekend. That's a very, very good fighter. Things aren't going your way. You find ways to figure it out and change positions and change the fight. And Erin Blanchfield, to me, I'm biased, I'm a hater, isn't that type of girl. All hammer, no nail. She was the nail in that JJ fight, and I know she ended up winning that fight, but that was a Hail Mary type situation. It looked like she didn't know it. She is not going to be able to out-bully and out-muscle and outwork Jessica Andrade. And I was a former Jessica Andrade hater. Against Amanda Lemos, I'm like, Amanda Lemos is going to just absolutely destroy her. Obviously, it was a weird type of submission win, but I have come around, and I am now fully on the Jessica Andrade train, especially in this matchup. She's going to get in. She's going to have the striking advantage. Blanchfield is going to be shooting desperate takedowns. I see this the same way as I saw Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori. Marvin Vettori was a one-dimensional kind of good wrestler, but he got exposed. I thought the same thing with Yair and Josh Emmett last week. Emmett, everyone says he's got the power, but does he really? He's got the wrestling, but doesn't, can't really use it. I see the same thing here. Jessica Andrade is the better striker. She stuffs the takedowns, and Erin Blanchfield is absolutely embarrassed in this fight. Andrade dominates bell to bell if she doesn't get a finish.
You're not worried about the short notice? Serious question, not Jacob character.
I think Andrade is one of those people you don't really have to worry about she's experienced. She wouldn't take this fight if she was not ready for this fight. She's worked too hard, losing to a girl like Erin Blanchfield because of short notice. She doesn't need to take this fight, right? She is Jessica Andrade. She's had the big wins. She could wait until the next big fight. She said, you know what? Let me just beat this girl right now because I know I can. I'm ready, and that'll make my name even more powerful than it already is. So. I think Jessica knows that this is a great matchup for her.
I think that's a good point because she is very close. Jessica Andrade is very close to a title shot. Right. Very close.
Why would she risk it?
So yeah, why risk it? No, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. I think Jessica Andrade absolutely gets it done. I just checked the odds as of right now are minus 170. So I saw it go down to 50. I saw it bounce back up. So I bet it yo-yos a little bit throughout the week. And I think after weigh-ins, it'll move significantly. Jessica may look sucked out, miserable, short notice, and she'll look great, good mood, hopping on the scale, happy, and the lines.
Andrade just fought 115, right? She's fought 115, 125,
correct,
135.
But it's been a while since 15. But yeah, listen, I'm not worried about it. I think Jessica Andrade absolutely gets this done for sure, and I put 2 units on her at minus 150.
No, that's a good line. I was kind of upset that I didn't jump on that earlier, but
she opened at minus 190.
Oh, it's 170 now. So it's
so I just said. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't listen to anything you say. If you didn't realize,
it went from 70 to 50, and now it's back up to. It went 90 to 50, now it's back up to 70.
Blanchfield sucks, man. She sucks.
I don't think she sucks. Because the JJ fight, I get your read, but also she didn't fold. She didn't quit. She stayed.
I mean, she was like, then whoa, look, I found a neck. It wasn't like it was like some like crazy situation where she's like working and then pulls guard and it's like, I'm showing how tough she was pressed against the fence once again by JJ. JJ took a shot, had her head exposed, and I could have grabbed that.
The most annoying comments this week are already Jessica was knocked out in 40 seconds by Wei Li. Okay, Wei Li.
Yeah, it's not fucking Wei Li, I'll tell you that.
And show me who Erin has just knocked out on her feet. You know what I mean? Like, Wei Li. Okay, she lost. Sucks. She lost to Wei Li. Congratulate that. And so, therefore, I would like to see all of your betting slips for Erin Blanchfield to win by KO. If you're using the Wei Li thing as like, she's definitely going to lose, I need to see the betting slips.
Plus 750.
Anyway, plus 750. Well, if all the people hyped
I might
up
play Andrade minus 5.5 again. I mean, I killed that on the Lauren Murphy one. It's minus 120. Might as well just play the money line. I don't know. Probably. Just
I was going to say it's a little safer. This fight could go any direction, and it's only minus 170. So if compared to minus 120. Anyway, we are both aligned on this. We both feel very strongly about this. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and just one point, because I saw Mbe mention as well, and we've had the discussion as well, and this is a great point, because people are going to say, well, Valentino took down Andrade, so Erin can take her down. If Valentino, there's a very big difference between anytime you see Shevchenko taking people down, she's not shooting single legs, she's not shooting doubles, she's not getting people down with wrestling takedowns. That's how Blanchfield gets people down. She's a wrestler. She gets people down with the single leg, with the typical wrestling fashion. Shevchenko gets people down with her judo, with the clinch work, with the trips, with the throws. That's how she gets people down. So when people are saying, "Oh, Shevchenko took her down, so and so," it's completely different takedowns. Yeah, you might be able to body lock, trip a smaller girl in Andrade, but that's not how Blanchfield takes people down. It's wrestling, and Andrade can defend those with her eyes closed.
I completely agree with you. $2 super chat from Sam Pierce, looking dummy thick. Thank you guys for everything.
I think he's talking about you.
I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult, but thank you for the $2. I will spend that.
Actually, it was probably because I was flexing. I am. Yeah, I put on 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks. I think you can tell it too.
Congrats. Yeah. Congrats.
There was a girl that smiled at me at the gym today. I was like,
So you do have plans tomorrow?
I said that she's getting waxed. So she's getting waxed before she gets waxed. You know what I mean? She need a candle lit, and I'ma wax that.
These vlogs are really going to start to expose you.
You don't even know what that's from. Somebody in the chat will know them. D will know what that's from. Me and D were talking about him a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
She need a candle, and I'ma wax that. Yeah.
That's the breakdown. We broke down the card. Only 11 fights. We gave you all of our picks. We gave you the bets that we have so far. And if you want access to all of our other bets as they happen throughout the week, you want access to our DraftKings optimizer, you want access to our confidence picks. Actually, you owe me confidence picks. You want access to our confidence picks? Nope. That's not how we're going to do it. You want access to our FanDuel plays, the DraftKings rankings, ownership projections, leverage, which is a proprietary calculation, mind you. You want access to everything. It's only $10 a month for all of it. Use it just for the optimizer. Use it just for the bets. Use it for everything. It is only $10 a month, not an event a month. That's $2.50 a week. That's 33 cents a day. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's a very insignificant amount of money. WeWantPicks.com. It's completely overhauled. If you've been there before, go back. Josh, our web guy, completely overhauled it. It's amazing. He just does incredible work. And that's the beauty of the membership. That's the beauty of the membership. This is not some buffoon's Patreon. This isn't some stupid Patreon where you can only post. It is an interactive website with charts, the ability to work through data. It's beautiful looking. Our raw notes, all that stuff. This is not a Patreon. Don't pay somebody $10 for a Patreon to get DraftKings ownership when they're just copying it from the big guys. Do you know where we get our DraftKings ownership from, Jakey boy?
I do.
No, you don't. We have Josh, not website Josh. We got another Josh. He gathers data from multiple sources, works in weighted calculations, and then comes up with his own ownership. We had literally the best ownership of all the actual large providers for DraftKings. Period. End of story. We were
End of story.
0.35 or something like that off from projections to actual. So thank you, Josh. Thank you all. $50 a month. Not a month. $50 from us. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners. Make a deposit. I send you $50. It's affiliate marketing. You use my link. They will pay me. And then I will take that money and give some of it to you. Very simple. Very straightforward. We're in a community together. And I think this is why our review to subscriber ratio is so high. Time? I do not. And don't forget about our limited edition merch. Shop.wewantpicks.com. We got a couple of cool items on there for the true OGs that understand what they even mean. For everybody else, we have normal We Want Pick stuff. Jakey boy, any last words for the people and not a song?
Damn. I had 3 ready to go. I thought we were really going to get into this, but no. I think look for the live stream, and live streams will be back. I know a lot of people enjoy those live streams. Look for Lock of the Week. Lock of the Week last week got some Mark Goddard. There was a conspiracy by the UFC for a while against Lock of the Week. Now it's just Mark Goddard for whatever reason. That is back-to-back weeks. He has screwed the Lock of the Week. But this one, I feel good. And I texted you immediately. Sometimes there's Lock of the Weeks that really jump out of the page. Alonzo was not one of them. Jekka wasn't really one of them, but he kind of was. But this is one of those ones I feel really good about. So find out Wednesday who that is.
And Alonzo, let's be real, he won that fight.
He fucking dominated that fight. He should have. The fact that Mark Goddard didn't stop that fight about 6 different times is just asinine. I mean, it's crazy. Look. This is like back to back, and maybe it's my fault. Maybe it is my fault because Jekka was like he got elbowed once, blocked 2 punches, and Mark stopped the fight. And then I was like all over him, like, why would you stop the fight? Why would you stop the fight? So maybe it's my fault. It probably is my fault. So then Jimmy Crute is literally like dead in the octagon, and Mark Goddard's like, oh, he's still kind of squirming a little bit. I don't know. So I think it's probably my fault. Sorry, Mark. I just realized that. So I've got him all flustered. I even tweeted him too. I'm like, this son of a bitch, Mark Goddard is fucking us. He didn't tweet back because,
I wouldn't say we both picked Menifield to win that fight, and I wouldn't say it was a bad lock at all. He won that fight.
All right.
That's not a bad lock. Anyway, thanks you guys very much for the watch, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Enjoy the free time we just gave you back. This fucking